Hi, I'm Ian Todd. I'm about to bring out a new album called Seven Signs of a Soul, and I thought to celebrate, I would go through it track by track and tell you about it. So, usually I'm against the idea of telling people what I think the songs are about. I usually like people to come up with their own meanings, but on this occasion I thought I would break that habit and just talk about some of the meanings behind the songs. So there are 7 songs on this album. That's quite crucial to the concept I was going for. Each one corresponds to one of the 7 signs of life that doctors and nurses use. So movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. And each of them then corresponds to another subject. So I'm not necessarily talking about excretion, but they might reference other things like mental health or stoicism or capitalism and how I think it's a bad idea. So movement towards motion is this idea that you can have a problem or maybe an issue or just some sort of thing, but depending on your perspective, it becomes either a big problem or maybe it becomes no problem at all. And I really enjoyed making movement towards motion. I think generally it encapsulates the sound I was going for, and I was quite chuffed that I had to sort of almost write in the order of these 7 signs of life. And so I thought, well, I've got to come up with an idea for movement, and it's going to have to start the opening of the album, So I was quite happy with that. And then there's Don't Forget to Breathe, and Don't Forget to Breathe is it's probably the most obvious what it's actually about, but it's listing all these different ideas of different things we do in our day-to-day lives, checking emails, washing the dishes, all those kinds of things. But remembering just to take a moment, maybe each day or maybe once a week, depending on how much you need, and to just enjoy being alive. Really, it can be so easy to just get caught up in everything. The writer Matt Haig has this really good description of if your entire time on this planet, your entire life was in a bottle of wine, would you gulp or would you sip? And I really like that idea, and I think this song is sort of somewhat encapsulating that. I'm using the word encapsulating a lot here. I think a sense of sensitivity is about the environment and how you process it, and how some people, like myself, guilty, find it kind of quite hard, sometimes with light and sound and processing all of that, taking it all in, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much. So Grow is a lot of fun to make. It's fun playing with the kind of delicate elements, and not to give any spoilers away, but it doesn't stay delicate for the entire song. Grow for me is about how you kind of can change, and I'm going to sort of say on a kind of 5-year cycle, although I wouldn't put a definite number on it. It's interesting in a way how people do change, and if you don't see someone for 5 years and then you see them again, there'll be still the same name maybe, or maybe there'll still be things you recognize about them, but there are other things that might change, their interests, their hobbies maybe, tastes in things, all sorts of things really. And I think that's kind of what Grow is about. It's about how people can change in a really lovely way over time. You never really stay the same person your entire life. And there's the kind of obvious things like when you're in your teens, you have your interests there, and then when you're in your 20s, you have the stereotypes of certain things that people do in their 20s, you know, when they go out to clubs and things, or well, not all, I wasn't like that, but kind of, you know, you have your stereotypes of certain decades you might be in, and maybe when you're in your 30s, a lot of people want to either settle down, and then some other people feel like they're stuck in a rut as well when you get to that, and it changes, and, you know, when you're old as well. So Made Yourself to Be. I think Made Yourself to Be, in a way, is about... oh God, I don't know. Just listen to the song. I think Made Yourself to Be can be about sort of thoughts and emotions, and how they don't always manifest themselves in ways that are particularly obvious, and sometimes it takes time to process those thoughts and emotions. You know, sometimes you kind of, you know, they talk about a gut reaction, or maybe it's just like a kind of a warmth in your head. You go like, yeah, and it makes you react in a way, and I think that's what that one's about. So what goes in is what goes out. So this is the fun one, because of course it, in a way, it's meant to represent excretion, and I think when I've told a few close friends and family about this project, and they've kind of gone, how are you going to do excretion? That has been the fun one to talk about, really, because of course it's not really about excretion at all. It's about you know, the ideas that you take in as you go through life is what sparks maybe creativity or your own ideas. You know, when you think of a spaceship, you know, you tend to go for the same kind of shape, even though, you know, when we think of aliens and spaceships, it could be kind of anything really, you know, the shape and the size and how it looks and sounds and what it can do. That's just a fun example, of course, you know. There's lots of things like that as well, how your ideas are inspired by things that have come before you. Nothing is 100% original. I think anything that was 100% original, people would look at it and go, that's a bit weird. And maybe not weird in a good way. Hopefully I'm weird in a good way. And then we come to our final and 7th song, Feed the Good Self. Feed the Good Self is about being kind to yourself in a way. You know, I think in particular, this refers to a lot of mental health sort of challenges that particularly here in Britain, that we're coming across, if not the entire world. And yeah, in a way, it's just, if you're going through that, just to remember to be kind to yourself. So I think that comes to all 7 songs, and I think what I'd probably like to close with here is to say, you know, take everything I say here with a pinch of salt, really. The song is about what you want it to be about, and you can probably find your own meaning, and really I've only given a sort of surface level of what these songs are about. There are a lot of hidden meanings. So please do just have a listen, enjoy the album. If you think they are pretty songs, then thank you, and you are right. And if you think they're about something deeper and more meaningful, then you are also right. But that's just an idea of what was going through my head when I was writing these songs. And hopefully you've enjoyed that, and do make sure to go and listen to 7 Signs of a Soul. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Bandcamp, your favourite platform, it will be on there. Yeah, thank you ever so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.